Well, 3 years ago, the arrival of 5 red heifers in Israel attracted global attention. The Temple Mount is sacred to 3 religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
First time after 2,000 years, we have real kosher red heifers.
Is Israel planning to build the third temple? For some, this is the ultimate end times question.
In recent years, the idea of a third temple in Jerusalem has re-emerged as a major point of interest, not only among religious Jews, but also among Christians and political observers around the world. For many Jews, the rebuilding of the temple is a long-awaited fulfillment of biblical prophecy. For evangelical Christians, it is a key indicator in eschatological timelines. And for geopolitical analysts, it is a subject that intersects with one of the most sensitive and contested regions in the world. But beyond the theological debates and international headlines, a quiet yet determined movement is underway. The descendants of ancient Israel's priesthood, the Kohanim, are actively preparing for the moment when the third temple will be built. The Kohanim are believed to be direct descendants of Aaron, the brother of Moses and the first high priest of Israel. According to Jewish law and tradition, they are the only ones permitted to perform specific sacred duties in the temple, including offerings and blessings. With the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 AD by the Romans, these priestly responsibilities came to a sudden halt. However, Jewish oral tradition and rabbinic writings preserved the knowledge and rituals of temple service for centuries. Now, in anticipation of the temple's possible reconstruction, efforts are being made to restore the knowledge, tools, garments, and training necessary to resume priestly functions. Central to this preparation is the Temple Institute, an organization based in the Jewish quarter of Jerusalem's Old City. Since its founding in 1987, the Temple Institute has dedicated itself to researching and restoring the sacred vessels and furnishings needed for the temple service. Over the years, the Institute has recreated over 90 ritual items, including the golden menorah, the table of showbread, and even garments for the high priest, all crafted according to biblical descriptions. These are not mere replicas for display. They are functional items intended for actual use in temple rituals. Training the Kohanim is a critical step in this process. In recent years, the Temple Institute and other organizations such as the Nezer HaKodesh Institute have begun offering practical priestly training. This includes instruction in the procedures of animal sacrifice, the handling of sacred utensils, the recitation of blessings, and the performance of daily, weekly, and festival rituals. The Kohanim selected for training must meet strict halachic, Jewish legal criteria, including being free from ritual impurity and having a verified priestly lineage. In some cases, modern genetics has been used to help verify claims of priestly descent, as studies have found a common genetic marker among many Kohanim, often referred to as the Cohen modal haplotype. Another essential element of the priestly preparation is the red heifer, or bara aduma. According to Numbers 19, the ashes of a perfectly red, unblemished cow are necessary for the purification of those who have come into contact with death, a requirement before entering the holy grounds of the temple. For centuries, no such heifer existed, rendering the ritual purification impossible. However, in recent years, several red heifers have been bred in both Israel and the United States under rabbinic supervision. These heifers are being carefully observed to ensure they meet the strict biblical qualifications, and if deemed acceptable, they could provide the purification means needed to begin priestly service. The preparation for the Third Temple also includes intense study of ancient temple architecture, dimensions, and blueprints as described in the books of Exodus, Leviticus, Ezekiel, and other biblical sources. Scholars and religious leaders debate whether the temple should follow the pattern of Solomon's temple or Ezekiel's visionary design, but detailed plans have already been drawn up. 3D models, architectural renderings, and even virtual reality simulations of the temple have been created to educate and prepare the public and priesthood alike for what may one day be built. However, the path to building the Third Temple is not without obstacles, foremost being the current political and religious situation surrounding the Temple Mount. This sacred area, known to Muslims as Haram al-Sharif, is home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, two of Islam's holiest sites. The Temple Mount is administered by the Islamic Waqf under Jordanian custodianship, and any Jewish religious activity on the Mount is strictly restricted. Therefore, Even the symbolic act of preparing for a future temple is viewed as provocative by many in the Muslim world. Nonetheless, some Jewish groups have been advocating for increased access and even proposing architectural designs that might allow for the coexistence of the Third Temple and Islamic sites. Despite the sensitivity of the issue, support for the idea of rebuilding the temple is growing among religious Jews. Polls and public sentiment among certain Israeli populations, especially within the religious Zionist community, reflect a readiness to see the temple rebuilt. Each year, on Tisha B'Av, the day commemorating the destruction of both the First and Second Temples, thousands of Jews gather near the Western Wall to pray for the temple's restoration. Christian communities, particularly evangelical Christians in the United States, have also shown significant interest in these developments. For many, the rebuilding of the temple signals the fulfillment of end-time prophecies and the return of Jesus Christ. Some Christian groups have donated funds to temple-related projects, and a few have even visited the Temple Institute to show their support. Still, other Jewish voices urge caution. Some rabbis argue that the temple cannot be rebuilt until the arrival of the Messiah, warning that premature attempts could bring unnecessary conflict or even divine judgment. Others focus on spiritual rather than physical restoration, teaching that the temple's rebuilding begins in the heart and in a return to ethical living and covenantal faith. The preparation of Israel's priests for the Third Temple is a deeply significant and multifaceted development. While political realities may delay or complicate the physical construction of the temple, the spiritual and practical groundwork is steadily being laid. The recreation of sacred vessels, training of Kohanim, and search for the Red Heifer are all active signs of a movement rooted in centuries-old faith and modern expectation. Whether one views these events through a religious, political, or prophetic lens, it is clear that the idea of a Third Temple continues to capture the imagination of millions, and the priests of Israel are getting ready.